Hi guys, I hope you are doing well. Let's talk about communities. Prior to arriving in Paraguay, I've been searching for communities in different places in the world, Asia, South America, Latin America, because I was living an individualistic life and I understood that government had an interest into getting you into this type of individualistic system because it separates the people, so they are easier to control. So in that context, I was looking to regain unity and support with other people and searching for communities. Nothing to do with a hippie style thing. It's more like we live together in proximity and support each other. A bit like a good neighborhood 40 or 50 years ago, or what you can still find in different parts of the world, but it's not easy. And so in that regard, I had high expectation for Paraguay because I was seeing a lot of like-minded flowing and going to Paraguay, which is still the case. And I was thinking, those people will form communities and stuff like that. So what did I find in Paraguay? One of the biggest names you may have heard about Paraguay is El Paraíso Verde. So I had expectation regarding this community. I reached out and then I talked to a lot of people who invested in El Paraíso Verde. Turns out that what they experienced, for those who went there, purchased a house or a piece of land, what they experienced was different from what they were sold. And in that context, many people get out. So I don't know if it's still the case, if it's still something very different from what is being sold, and mostly potentially a financial scam, or if it's good now, I don't know. It's for you to find out and reach out to them, go visit, talk to the people who live there. But so I didn't find in Paraguay as many communities as I thought I would find because morning mosquitoes. There is resources, there's land available, there's nature available, and I would expect that it's easy to create communities here. But it's not. It's not, and it's difficult to find communities. And I do see people arriving here, foreigners, who purchase a large piece of land, so multiple hectares, then split it into pieces, and then use a name, right, branding, build a web page, and says like, okay, this is the new communities for Paraguay, like come here and we're gonna live happy and support each other. And mostly, for many of them, it's just a financial scam. When they purchase, you've got my other video about that. Communities don't get scammed in Paraguay, where foreigner arrives, they purchase a large piece of land. It's like, okay, let's split. It's not expensive, so let's pay 50,000 USD, 100,000 USD, 150,000 USD. Let's split it into dozens of lots, and let's sell those lots, and we're gonna make money. So in that context, the project is more financially driven than people driven. So you can't really call that community. Also the website, the advertising on Facebook or whatsoever will be extremely compelling. Reality behind usually is that they are in for the money, for making money out of you, of other foreigners, because they can't scam locals, they're gonna scam foreigners. And you need to be, again, referring to my previous video, you need to be extremely careful about this because they ask you for large investments and you may be locked into that, exactly as it happened for some people in El Paraíso Verde. Sorry, calling the dogs. And in that context, I don't think it's a solution to buy a piece of land from someone who just bought a large piece of land and just aim at splitting it, and then on paper there's a plan, but in reality there's nothing. The most relevant things I have found here in regard to communities, and I would call that not communities but micro communities. And let me try to express it very clearly because it's not easy, but it's the research I have done over the past few months. is that you've got a number of, for instance, Germans who arrive there. They've got financial capability, and so they purchase piece of land. They have multiple hectares, and they started to build something. They build their main house, they build some type of farming, they may have animals and stuff like that. And so they have put a lot of money, time and effort in their project. However, at some point, it can go in two directions. One direction is that they've put so much money, time and effort in their project that they are running out of one of the three. And so there's an opportunity for you to join those projects actually, in the way that you would arrive, you meet them, and you potentially can purchase a piece of their land, explaining them that you're there to contribute and live potentially with them as a micro community. I did actually went to those places where some Germans have 10, 15 hectares, and I talked to them. They were receptive to the idea, although they were still in the individualistic mindset, and that's the reason why arriving in Paraguay, they purchased 10, 15, 20, 30 hectares and build their own stuff, their own house, their own small house for rental, their swimming pool, their house for the sheep, ducks, goats, cows, and then they hire workers, local workers, to get the job done. I have a friend, for instance, he's going to Paraguay when he met someone from a German person, as a couple, who has a farm, and they were receptive to the idea, and they are teaming up. So the guy is basically living there on weekday basis, learn from the German people, know how to do farming and things like that. Stay there for free, but contribute in the form of work, for instance. It doesn't mean that you need to do that. It means that there's really an opportunity for teaming up with people who are already there. To me, it's just To me, it's just like a market of supply and demand. And the best demand and supply that I've identified here in Paraguay is, so those who are in demand of community, you arrive in Paraguay and you would like to find way more than the same setup that you have in the West, where you've got your own house, your own potentially swimming pool, cars, motorbike, whatever. So you are in demand of community, of social link. You're not too clear about the form of it, but you want to remain independent, yet you want to have the support of people, like-minded people around you, so that we're stronger together. There's a lot of potential synergy, especially in terms of resources. There's no point each of us buying a house of 100,000 USD or something like that. It's a nonsense, especially in the market, which is highly illiquid here in Paraguay. And so this is the demand side. And then the supply side is those folks, and there's a lot in Paraguay, foreigners who've purchased multiple hectares multiple years ago, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. I've built something, but I've not done it in terms of team, as a team. I've not thought about doing it as a community. Don't know sometimes how to do it as a community. And so there's an opportunity for demand and supply to meet and actually create something great, because I have seen it across a few examples which tell me it's positive. There's really something to do, and it's working. This is the key point, it's working. It's not like the foreigner arriving in Paraguay and then buy a large piece of land and then cut it into pieces and sell you a dream. Why it doesn't work? Because nothing is built. Because they don't have all the skills, so they want your financial input, thinking that through your financial input, either they are going to run away with your money and build nothing, or they're going to build something, but it just doesn't, but it doesn't work like this. It takes a lot of time in Paraguay to gain experience. A lot of things are different. The quality of the soil, the material, how to build, the structure of things. Finding competent people here, it's actually, it's not easy. They are here, but it's not easy, it takes time. And so the folks who have already spent years trying to understand how things work here, build something, they have a massive advantage. And you can benefit from their advantage. You arrive with usually financials, right? Let's say you've got 20,000 euros, 50, 100 or more, whatever. But you arrive with financial power, and that could be a win-win in the context of people who may be looking for more financial because they've been using a large chunk of what they own, or they're looking for more energy, so you bring manpower, and you also bring your time. So, you see what I mean? Arrive here, my conception of communities was not adapted to what's the reality on the ground. I think I'm narrowing down now to a solution, which is find those people who have already built something and team up with them. Because it's for micro community, which is the base of growing a larger community. Start small. There's no point trying to start with 20 families or things like that. It just doesn't work. It's just a nonsense. But you only realize that it's a nonsense after some time, because you don't see it. It doesn't exist. So if it doesn't exist, there's a reason for that. Key reason for that is that you need experience. You need to take your time here. You need to build it in the correct way. And so I hope this is useful. On this, it's really an ongoing discussion. I'm continuously trying to find solution and the best setup versus what we get here in Paraguay. I do think that micro communities and building a network of micro communities is a key solution in the short term, let's say for the next 2, 3, 5 years. More long-term, larger communities, but it starts small anyway. So there's no point trying to get a piece of land and selling a dream that we cannot execute on because it's just too complicated. Very few people in the world are actually able to do that. And the best working communities I've seen in the world are actually usually the communities that advertise the least. They are basically quite silent about what they've done because it's working, so you don't want to attract too many eyes, and they know that you can't scale very easily. And that's it. All right, cheers. Feel free to comment, feel free to reach out to me. We're there to find solution. I'm not saying I'm right or I have the solution to everything, but at least we progress towards something which is positive for everyone. Not just for me, but just for everyone. Cheers.